some, coming out of high school, it's hard to decide what you want to do. All of a sudden, there's this big question of like who you're going to be with the rest of your life. It's a big decision. Some people know right off the bat, which is great, and even that changes sometimes. But sometimes people like myself aren't too sure what they want to do right out of high school. I took 2 years to decide if I wanted to, what I wanted to do and what major I wanted to declare. I basically decided that I should go on the route of taking all my gen ed requirements. That way, kind of, dipping my feet in every sort of little pool, and seeing maybe if something grabbed my attention or interested me. So by junior year, you had to decide, and it did work out for me where I ended up, finding some sort of role in a major. I felt like communications was good for me. Everybody's different. And in the meantime, I didn't waste any time. People might be afraid that like, oh, they're wasting all this time, but I got all my gen ed requirements done. So now I just have a lot of major requirements to do, and I can just do that for the next 2 years. So it's a good way to do that if you don't know your major right off the bat, coming out of high school into freshman year.
When I came to Molloy, I started as a biology major, and that was a horrible fit for me. So I began to examine other possibilities, and in doing so, I was able to find that I had a knack for philosophy and also for foreign languages. So I stuck with that, and I just kept exploring and examining and developing my skills. And so it's important to try different fits so that you know what kind of talents you have to develop, because if you never explore those possibilities, then you might miss things about yourself that are really valuable and that could be developed and honed.
It took me a long time to choose my major. Originally, I started to go for English education, and then I decided I didn't want to be a teacher, so I changed it to English and then minoring in business management. And then I realized I wanted to do accounting also, so I changed my major to interdisciplinary studies, so it's actually English and business management, and my minor is now accounting.
When I first came into Molloy College as a freshman, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to become a psychology major. Unfortunately, though, a bunch of my friends weren't really sure what they wanted to do, but it's okay. It's not a big deal, and a lot of people on campus don't know what they want to do. You really don't have to pick a major, your first year. You could kind of take a bunch of different classes and see where your interest really falls. There's a bunch of different courses that you could take that'll pull any of your interests, so don't stress out about not having a major. There's a lot of people in the same boat as you.
I wasn't always an English major. When I first came to Molloy, I was studying communication and arts. I was getting good grades in the classes, but it wasn't for me. I wasn't passionate about the subject. And I was looking at the English classes that Molloy offered, and I found myself more interested in those. I was a little hesitant to become an English major because I had taken so many communication courses, and I thought that it would have been a waste. So if that ever happens to anyone where you're realizing that my major isn't for me, you could always just minor in it so you don't feel like you're wasting your time and your money. So now I'll be graduating with my bachelor's in English and my minor's in communication, and I'm satisfied with my choice. I love being an English major, so I think I made the right decision in the end.
How do you choose a major? Well, when I talk to students about choosing a major, I use the analogy of going to an all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet for the first time. If you went to an all-you-can-eat buffet for the first time, what would you have? Never been there before. What would you have? Well, I think I'd get a plate in each hand, and I would try a little bit of everything. And so what you're doing is you're sampling all these beautiful dishes for the first time. And you're going to walk out of there full. What will you eat the second time you go to the buffet? You'll gravitate to what you like. So I think the first principle of choosing a major is you want to find out what you like. Ideally, find out what you love, and then you major in that. Because if you study what you love, you will have a passion for what you're doing with your life. And that's priceless. Now, some people think they know what they want to do when they come to college, but you may not even be aware of what's out there when you come to college. And we at Molloy have the general education requirements, which requires each and every one of our students to sample as we would sample at the buffet for the first time. You need a course in art, you need a course in music, you need a course in comm arts, and down through the list. So you're sampling all these different courses the first semester or two you're at Molloy anyway, because that's part of your requirement for your degree. Anyway, no matter what your major is. So once you begin to sample, then you begin to discover what you like and what you don't like. So, for example, if you take a psychology class to fulfill the gen ed requirement for psychology, and you really like the psychology class, then maybe you'll take a second psychology class. And if you follow that principle, you cross things off the list that you don't like and take a second dose of something you really do like. The major, in a sense, will almost choose itself.